The Chicago Bears just had a sneaky good signing. Hello, everyone. I'm Andy here with Chicago Bears React, bringing you all the Chicago Bears news you're seeking here in the free agency season. Before we dive into today's story, if you wouldn't mind doing me a favor and like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, make sure that you don't miss any of the content coming out of this channel because we're covering everything coming out of Hallis Hall, all the exciting news surrounding your Chicago Bears. Now, obviously, in this free agency week, Bears fans have been, I think, a little underwhelmed by the activity of the Chicago Bears. Ryan Poles has not swung for the fence. He has really opted for a number of small yet significant signings. You know, we talked about Gerald Everett. We talked about Byard and Swift, and just these not star players, but very solid, dependable role players who are going to help fill out the roster come the 2024 season. And today was kind of no different. We saw another significant signing, but this one's sneaky important, as we'll take a look at, and that's the signing of center Coleman Shelton. Coleman is a interior offensive lineman. He's been previously with the Los Angeles Rams. He started all 17 games last season. That's a big deal. 17 is also an important number because if we take a look at Pro Football Focus, they have him ranked. If we look over here on the kind of right-hand side, they have him ranked 17 for centers over this past season. And so this is, we're going to be honest here, this is not a star center. This is not even a top 10 center. This is really a league average center. But the Bears haven't had league average center play for quite a while. And, just bringing in an adult in the room, somebody who's reliable, somebody who can stay healthy is going to be a big deal. So, at the end of the day, this does not preclude the Bears from maybe going out and getting a rookie center. This is a one-year deal. We don't know all the details yet, but it's a very low investment from the Bears. And so I look at this and I say, this tells me the Bears want to make sure that they don't have to draft a center this year if the board doesn't fall their way. But they also can draft a center with the hopes of giving that rookie some time to kind of acclimate to the NFL. Center is one of the more difficult positions to come in and start right away. It's especially when it comes to the offense, outside of the quarterback, it's probably the most difficult position mentally because they have to do so much pre-snap before they snap the ball. So, we take a look at this and ultimately, as is pointed out here, your starting line now is probably set. So you got Braxton Jones, Tevin Jenkins, Coleman Shelton, Nate Davis, and Darnell Wright. These two depth names that are listed here are two people that have also been added to the roster in the last week. So Ryan Bates is someone that Ryan Poles tried to sign 2 off seasons ago before the Buffalo Bills matched that restricted offer. So he's coming over as someone who will be able to play both center and guard. A theme you're going to pick up on in just a moment. The other one, that second name there, Matt Pryor. Matt Pryor is coming from San Francisco. This is somebody who is going to be your swing tackle. And so he's going to be that third tackle who can play in a pinch. But in addition to the fact that he can play tackle, he can also play guard. And so the thing I want to point out as we kind of come back to here is the way this has been constructed is with a focus on positional flexibility. And so Nate Davis is kind of set at that right guard spot, but if something happens to Nate Davis, Tevin Jenkins can play right guard and open up the left side for Ryan Bates or Matt Pryor, or he could stay there and Ryan Bates and Matt Pryor could go to the right side. They could fill in for Tevin. Ryan Bates can fill in at center, and so now you've got a couple people who can play center. Coleman Shelton can also play guard, and so maybe your best route is to put Coleman as the backup guard, and if something happens to Nate or to Tevin, you move Coleman over, and you've got Ryan Bates able to come in and play guard. You have this interchangeable way now that you can approach that offensive line, which the big benefit there is you don't have to carry as many linemen. And so instead of having to have 9, 10 linemen as a part of your 53-man roster, you could theoretically go into the season with just 7, 8 guys. And that's a big deal. That opens up a lot of possibilities, having that positional flexibility. So this is, to me, a very interesting offensive line that's developing. I think Coleman is going to be fine. He's certainly going to be an improvement over Lucas Patrick, over what we saw from Sam Mustipher before then. Even what we saw, especially what we saw from Cody Whitehair when Cody was asked to come in and fill in at center. Cody, for whatever reason, had the yips and just could not do it as much as we needed him to. And so, I think I'm looking at this offensive line now and I'm saying this unit, which was already improving, should be a decent amount better going into next season. I don't think this is a top 10 offensive line, but I do think this is at least a league average, if not slightly above league average line, depending on health and then on the growth of some of the younger players. So very interesting. Another thing that's probably worth mentioning from Coleman Shelton. This is something I brought up in a previous video where I broke down the center options, and I said keep an eye on Coleman Shelton because he has played for Shane Waldron before. He was Shane when he was playing for the Rams, or when Shane was offensive coach for the Rams. Coleman Shelton was there, and so we're starting to see the roots of that. The same thing happened with Luke Getsy. We saw Equanimous St. Brown, Robert Tonyan, some of these Packers players coming over to the Bears. Now we're starting to see some players who've been in Seattle or have been in LA with Shane Waldron coming over. They know the system, they know the offense, they're ready to go. So anyway, this is, like I said, this is a sneaky good signing, and I think Bears fans aren't going to be over the moon about this, but we should at least be excited. This is one last glaring now we have one less glaring hole on our roster. We solved safety, we solved center. Now we can be hyper-focused on what are we going to do in the wide receiver room? What are we going to do to bolster that defensive line? And so as I look at this, it's like Caleb Williams is, it seems like you can lock that in. He's going to be the number 1 pick. But that number 9 pick, if it's not Roma Dunze or Malik Neighbors, it's, in my mind, going to be probably Dallas Turner or Jared Verse or whoever the top defensive end on their board is, because those are now your 2 big needs. And I think the Bears have been methodical about free agency in a way that it's really going to allow them to take the best player on their board instead of worrying too much about if we don't trade back, how are we going to fill the center position, or how are we going to get a tight end too? No, they can really just let the draft come to them and not worry so much about that. So let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think this is going to be the starting center for the Bears, or do you think Ryan Poles has some other plans in mind via the draft? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, Bears fans, bear down.